Hello and thank you for joining me for another beer review then. So today we've got another beer from Floc out of Canterbury here in East Kent. And it's a can of their Motion. Sorry about the light. There we go. Motion. West Coast IPA, 6% ABV. I'm loving the skull and all that kind of jazz on that. That's pretty awesome. Looks like it's trying to pick out a plane out of the air. I don't know. Either way, this is brewed with Citra, Simcoe, Centennial and UK Chinook, 6% ABV of course. Other information, where are we going here? So water, yeast, hops, then malted barley, wheat and oats contain. So another West Coast IPA with oats in. Okay, seems to be the way with these modern kind of West Coast type beers. I'll just check for the IBUs on this, just for, you know, because it's a West Coast IPA actually, and doesn't actually list it on tap. So, but yeah, UK Chinook. It's quite an interesting hop varietal. So, branded glass. I've had this a few times on draft, so this is quite an interesting one to see what it's like in the can. Not had it in the can before, so purchased this at the Royston in Broadstairs today. A little bit left in the can. So all right, it's got oats in it, but it's still fairly coming out fairly clear, which is nice. So yeah, slightly kind of not hazy, but more of a kind of a hue than anything else. But poured half a finger of pure white head. Yeah, kind of orangey-ish in colour. Into the light, yeah. There's some gentle bubbles coming through, but nothing crazy. Nose. Quite mellow. It's a little bit almost like gooseberry or something. A little bit kind of grassy, hop oil, grassy, gooseberry, melon. Low key. Maybe a touch of pine. But all quite low key. There's nothing really kind of going crazy on the aroma at this stage. It's straight out of the fridge as well, so just a heads up on that. So it may change as the beer warms up, but let's go ahead and give it a try. So cheers. Wow, okay. Right. Shit. So there is a kind of hit of bitterness in that. Just pouring the rest out. And that's straight off the first sip. Mind you, I have gone from a sweet brown ale to a West Coast IPA, so there is going to be a little bit of a kind of a transitional kind of period on the palate between them two beers, of course. So yeah, grapefruit, a bitter grapefruit. Still getting a nice kind of citrusy vibe in that. Slightly dank, but not crazy. A little bit of kind of, I don't know if it's pininess or spruce tips or that kind of thing. A little bit kind of, yeah, pine forest floor. A little bit sharp. Kind of green, yeah, it's got that kind of green, it's got like a hop leaf kind of greenness going, as in green. When I say greenness, I don't mean as in, oh, it's green as in fresh. It's more of the hop cone kind of thing going on there. Residualness on the palate as well is very hoppy. I never know where I am with modern West Coast type pales and IPAs and things. It'd be very interesting to know what the modern West Coast. I mean, apart from perhaps Sierra Nevada, and I've not had any too many real hoppy beers from them over the years. Them or Stone, or from what I remember of what West Coast used to be. Um, what is this is more probably a question to people over in the States, West Coast sort of side, if you can get their beers. What's modern day West Coast beers like? I'd be quite intrigued. I'm just throwing names out there. Like Lagunitas IPA used to be. I'm going back like 8, 9 years ago. Really kind of resiny and jammy and piney and dank, and I don't know. I don't know if it's just whether with the whole kind of New England phase of beers over say the last 8, 9 years or whatever, where maybe your palate's just kind of completely changed. But saying that, because obviously them beers aren't crazy bitter. I'm sorry, Floc, for going off on one there as well. I'm just intrigued how it's all working. You'd think that your palate's become so saturated in these New England type style beers that when you do try a West Coast beer, it's going to be even more kind of impactful, more bitter, etc. And I find a lot of them. I mean, I've had a few the last 2 or 3 months West Coast type pales and IPAs, and they're not crazy bitter. Is it a case of they're worried to having it too bitter that people won't buy the beers, because people's palates is so used to the New England style? I don't know. That's a question for brewers and stuff like that as well. But yeah, it'd be interesting to know what modern West Coast IPAs are like in America. So many questions, But anyway, that's just a side kind of comments. Back to this beer, I really do enjoy it, to be honest with you. It's not as crazy bitter. It's a very good modern take on a West Coast. It's up there with Elusive, Oregon Trail for me, which has been very highly regarded for the style in recent, probably last few years. They've brewed it a few times, of course, but some have been like, yeah, okay. Some have been better than others. This is up there, with the better ones. So yeah, the aroma's not going. I mean, it's probably to do with the temperature of the beer, but as an overall modern West Coast beer, it's very tasty. I mean, I've had it 2 or 3 times on draft. This is the first time I've had it in a can. I wanted to do a review because I thought it was quite decent on draft, and it is in a can as well, which is great. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below about the whole kind of. It's definitely a debate to be had, a wider debate. Unfortunately, it just happened to be on this review. I just these aren't kind of scripted reviews or whatnot. It's just I just go over the flow of them, as you know. But yeah, it'd be quite interesting, even in brewers and stuff like that. I'm sure I'll have a chat with Ross about this one day, and other brewers in the future. So, but yeah, this is a great beer. If you like West Coast IPAs in its current form, this is probably one of the better ones. So this is a Motion then from Floc. They're out of East Kent here in near Canterbury, where I live, not too far down the road. Originally from Margate, even closer. But yeah, awesome stuff. Well done, guys. Great beer. And yeah, let me know if you've had this one before, and all the other comments, as I've said during the review, down below. See you on the next one. Cheers.